Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through. This time around it's Monster Party, brought to us by Bandai and Human Entertainment. Now Bandai mainly publishes games, as they publish the Dragon Ball Z game still today. They also are responsible for publishing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in the United States. Now Monster Party is a very interesting game. It's actually pretty good, and it has some cool things that puts it over the top, in my opinion, to make it a great game. Now you just saw the opening there, that was just basically the title screen. You saw some of the random monsters that we're going to be dealing with throughout this game, including some interesting things such as a fried shrimp, which we'll get into more of the fried shrimp later. Now here we go with the actual storyline for the game as the text moves slowly by, but I'm going to pretty much summarize it, and of course you're reading it as it goes on. But anyway, basically this kid named Mark is walking home from his baseball game one night when he looks up in the starry sky, and of course he sees stars, but there's one particular star that's actually quite bright. And he gets mesmerized by it. He's just kind of staring up in space. I guess what a normal kid would do that just randomly would see a bright star. But anyway, he stops, he takes a look, and he realizes it's falling to Earth. And then eventually it falls right next to him, and he realizes, hey, that's not a star. It's actually, in fact, a monster, and more specifically, a gargoyle. And the gargoyle gets up and says, hey, my name is Bert. Heck of a name for a gargoyle, but we'll go with it. Anyway, Bert's homeworld is being attacked by monsters, is being messed up, there's a lot of crap going on, and basically Bert has selected Mark over anyone else because Mark's carrying a baseball bat. Bert pretty much refers to it as a weapon, and he's saying, hey, you come back with me to my homeworld and help me save it. Now I'm sure there's an infomercial out there that tells little kids, don't talk to strange gargoyles, especially ones that just fell from the sky and are saying they're promising you they're going to take you back to their home world where you can battle monsters and save the world. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what happens when most of these gargoyles pick up little kids off the street and take them to their home world, quote unquote. But anyway, Mark decides, hey, guess what? I guess that sounds good to me, and we're, after a long drawn-out conversation that the text just keeps going, seemingly. Anyway, Bert picks up Mark, and they start flying through the sky like it's no big deal. And basically, what they decide is that one of the things that Mark can do in order to help save Bert's homeworld is they can fuse together, and they don't have to do any kind of fusion dance or anything, but they can fuse together, and that will allow them, in order to be more powerful, in order to save Bert's homeworld. Now, I hope you got most of that. Basically, kid goes with gargoyle to another world to save it. There you go. That's the general summarizing of what I just said for the last, 2 minutes of this video. But anyway, as we see flashing, as we are about to begin our adventure. Now, what the key thing is in this game is you're going pretty much as a normal platform action type game, especially on the NES. We've seen these types of games before. And you have a baseball bat as your main weapon, and it's really cool that you actually can hit the projectiles back at most enemies, and when they do hit enemies, it's usually an instant kill. Because some enemies are taking 3, 4, 5 shots or more that end up killing them, but if you hit them with one of the projectiles right back at them with the baseball bat, it ends up killing them instantly. And now here's the very first boss battle of the game. It's a giant plant that is pretty much reminiscent of Little Shop of Horrors, and it spits little bubbles out at us, and we're going to have to hit the bubbles right back at it with our baseball bat, and we just slowly do damage. We can get up closer to it and do a lot more damage if I kind of just timed it right, but I'm going to be saving my energy at least right this second in order to try to build it up a little bit, because there will be quite a few boss battles where the best strategy is pretty much just go in and start attacking no matter how many times you end up getting hurt. And basically that's the only way you'll be able to do some of these battles. Now, in terms of overall difficulty, really it's not that hard. There's actually only one boss battle, I think, in the entire game that is actually really difficult, and that's just because of the programming of the boss, and we'll get to him way later, as he's in actually the last level of the game. Now, for the structure of the game, besides this being an action platformer, you actually go around, there's multiple doors in each level. Now, some of these doors just take you to a blank, empty area, for example, the door that we're about to pass. Now, in this game, I'm actually just going to skip all the empty doors, because all it is you walk into a door, and it says, it's empty. And then the door opens up, and you go through. You don't have to enter these doors in order to complete the game, so we really aren't going to deal with them. Now, for the other boss battles, for the other doors, they actually contain boss battles. As here's the more infamous one of the more infamous ones. It's a giant spider that's already dead before we even got a chance to do battle with him. I mean, That's just something you really never have seen before in a game. The fact that a boss battle is already dead before you even face them, is now the world goes all scary. And it's actually one of the cooler moments in the game because it seemed a little bit scary, but now it's just frightening. I mean, there's blood everywhere, everything has an evil face on it. I mean, you think this game is screwed up beyond anything that you've probably ever played before, especially when you just got up to this point. You know, for the most part, most of the enemies are staying the same, and now we have eyeballs with tentacles and all kinds of crap going on, as we now do a battle with a pumpkin head style ghost, reminiscing a little bit of the boss from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, the blind the thief, the girl that you take in, hits light and goes nuts and spins her head crazy like the Exorcist. Kind of similar to that, actually very similar to that, since unfortunately this jack-o'-lantern won't split itself. Basically for strategy, we're just running up and hitting it. You can hit the projectiles of the little mini pumpkins that it throws at you, knock them back at it, do damage. And after defeating this pumpkin, we're actually going to get a key. And you basically have to defeat all the bosses. You know, usually there's 3 per level. You get a key, and then you can make it to the end of the level and actually be able to enter the final door. This game has a mix of many things, and since unfortunately they never made a sequel, unfortunately this game only came out in America, it was never released in Japan, even though it looked like the publishing was going to allow it to be released in Japan, and maybe if it had, we would have seen more of this game. But it's just another one of those great NES classics that just unfortunately we'll never probably see anything from ever again. Now as I'm nearing the end here, so I'm going to skip another door because it's another one of the empty doors, and we'll get through it. There's only one level that actually is really difficult to have to deal with, and when we get to it I'll show you the correct doors in order to make it to the level quickly, because it's one of those levels, and there's a bunch of them in NES games. For example, Astyonix has one of them, where if you have to enter the right doors in order to make it through the maze, in order to get to the end of it. It doesn't send you back to the beginning if you enter the wrong door, but you may end up getting lost, and if you get completely lost in it, you're going to be stuck in there for a while. Now here is the first boss of level 2. It's basically a stagnant Medusa-style snake that just sits there, shoots little tiny snake-type things at us. Basically, it looks like a snake that just ate a rat or something because it's kind of fat. Once that's taken care of, we're going to get the question mark, which is, for the first time in the game, I actually got to transform. Now, you saw at the beginning cutscene, you actually fused with Bert. Now, here's the first time in this run of the game that I've actually been able to turn into Bert. Throughout the game, every time you beat a boss, you get a question mark item, and that question mark will either give you bonus points, extra health, or will turn you into this mutant form of pretty much Mark fused with Bert. You can also get random pills from other enemies that will automatically turn you into Bert, as well as, of course, you can pick up the health upgrades and stuff like that, as well as the question mark things that do, well, one of the 3 things: points, health, or turn you into Bert. Now, some enemies I'm just going to kind of skip over in case they do a lot more damage than it's actually necessary to deal with them. Now, here's one of the few annoying things that get on my nerves in this game. You can hear it a little bit in the background, I'm sure. That annoying kind of beeping sound that pretty much is happening when you're about to turn back into regular just Mark with the baseball bat from out of the Bert mutation form. And it's just one of those things, just like when you have low health in the Legend of Zelda games, it just gets on my nerves to no end. I will never understand why in video games that was a good idea. I understand it beeps once or twice, but I do not understand why in certain games the beep just had to continue until you finally get health. Like it's some big warning, big siren, look, you have low health. It's like, yeah, I got it when I looked at my health bar and figured out I had low health. Let alone do I have to hear a beeping sound for literally like 10 minutes until I finally kill a freaking Octorok that actually gives me a damn heart. Okay, I just went kind of a complete rant there. But anyway, this is a fun little boss battle because you have to fight fried food. Oh yes, fried food. As we start off with a fried shrimp, which was mentioned. We saw it in the opening title screen. Now we actually get to do battle with it. It basically bounces around. It really doesn't do much. And if it hits you, it doesn't do really any damage whatsoever. As we are now battling it with a giant onion ring, as I just turned out of Bert form and back into Mark form. And that's kind of one of these weird things about this game. I mean, you're literally, saying that I'm turning from Bert into Mark. This is something that doesn't really happen often, especially from taking pills and stuff. Just one of those cool things that's just another element of this game, now I'm doing battle with, it looks like some kind of shish kebab type fried food. It looks like random fried food items put on some kind of stick. And basically it's doing the same exact thing the onion ring and the shrimp before it did, and it fails and loses just as much as they did. But anyway, after it's defeated, of course, we get another question mark, but unfortunately it didn't turn me into Bird again, which of course is very, very useful. It's the most useful thing to be in Burt form for the most part, especially on those bosses that are just run in and try to do as much damage as you possibly can before they end up killing you, which is actually a good chunk of the enemies throughout the course of this game. As we continue to make our way through level 2, just killing basic regular enemies, and just the normal enemies are great to look at. I mean, you have a half, it's like pretty much the reverse of a mermaid. I mean, you have human legs and a fish head. It's just one of those cool things. It's kind of funny as that stupid thing opens up. If I had the baseball bat and could knock that bubble right back into it, it would instantly kill that stupid little plant thing, but since unfortunately I'm in Burt form, it's the only downside to being in Burt form pretty much is you can't reflect the projectiles back at some of the enemies. Okay, here we go with the third and final boss from level 2. This is a haunted, well, it's a haunted well that shoots random coins. It looks at us like kind of like a wishing well type of thing where you would flip coins randomly into a well to make a wish. Basically this well is like, well, you know what, I'm sick and I'm fed up of having coins thrown in me. I'm going to spend them back at you. Now, I wish I could walk by a random well and just spit money back up at me. I'd, take it and pocket whatever pennies and nickels that were probably thrown in there. But either way, we take him out. We have the key, and now we're going to continue on working our way through level 2. We only have a little bit farther till we get to the end and actually get to the door where we enter and can head on to the next level. As I hate their stupid plant things, I just didn't feel like waiting for it to shoot the stupid bubble at me. I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to continue walking and just get right past this thing. There we go. I killed that one, so one of them died at least. Okay, that's going to wrap up level 2. We're going to get a little bit of a health bonus, which is very, very useful, of course. We have one of the strange passwords. This game's password system is ridiculous. It has all uppercase letters and all the lowercase letters, plus numbers and symbols. I mean, in order to figure out what exactly it is, I mean, you have to have, like, lowercase s, followed by uppercase s, followed by lowercase t, 3 uppercase letters, followed by 0, 1, and it's only 9 letters or numbers or symbols long, but half the time I wrote down the passwords as a kid, and I just couldn't remember if I put a capital C or a lowercase c, and then it's like, okay, the stupid password didn't take, so now I just gotta pretty much rebeat the game up to that point. So I was just trying, when I finally beat this game, I think I just did it in one single sit through, because the passwords would never seemingly work. It's just one of those games where the passwords were pretty much useless. Then again, it's probably because I had horrible handwriting, and still do, and I could never read my own writing correctly. Here we do battle with one of the more interesting bosses again. This is a giant bull, giant green bull, that throws mini cows at us. I don't know if you can really hear it. I was going to shut up for a second so you could hear it, but unfortunately he died so quickly. He actually does make a mooing sound as he's launching little tiny cows at you, which is a nice little touch. It's another one of those little things that makes the game cool. In kind of that quirky sense, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Earthbound in that way, or Mother, or whatever you want to call it. Just because Mother has those few boss battles, throughout our regular enemy battles that have a special song specifically for it. Like, for example, of course, Mother 1, you have the Retro Hippie battle that has a specific song made just for it. We actually do have a couple boss battles in this game that have specific songs made just for them. So that's pretty cool. I also think the fact that I'm collecting a key to get to the end of a level and open a door is a little bit reminiscent, and plus the opening dialogue and the fact there is an opening storyline and all, just reminds me a little bit of Little Nemo, which is always good too. Another great game. If you're going to have anything that reminds you of a game, let it be a good game. And it's another one of those things that reminds me of a good game. Now this game came out in 1989, so it's right at the end of that 80s NES era, so not quite before the 90s era. The SNES wasn't out yet, so this was definitely one of those releases that could have really done well. I actually kind of have it in the same boat as Kabuki Quantum Fighter. It's just a great game that I don't think enough people heard of. I think people heard more of this game, thankfully, than Kabuki Quantum Fighter, but both games are great. They both tell a storyline, have cool boss battles, and some cool things throughout the game that just make them so cool. As I've just said, probably cool like 100 times during the course of the span of a few seconds, but regardless of that, Continuing on, as I am now Pink Bert, and I'm getting ready to fight a giant spider. Now, of course, if you remember from level 1, we actually did battle with a spider that was already dead, and it was an instant win. Well, this is pretty much the equivalent of that spider had it been alive. There actually is another giant spider in the game later on, but unfortunately we will not do battle with it because there's actually another level that kind of tricks you. In fact, there's 3 bosses, just like all the other levels, but you're only supposed to kill 2 of them, because if you kill the 3rd one, you end up losing the key that you gained from killing the 2nd one. It's just another one of those things that kind of tricks you. I mean, I would end up beating all 3 bosses, get to the top of the level, I'm like, why in the hell don't I have my key? It's just one of those things. As we now enter level 4, which is kind of an Egyptian-style tomb level, even though it should be like a yellowish or, brown-orange, it's a blue, which is fine. Why not? Going down, apparently there's alligators, of course. I guess Nile alligators have made it into a random Egyptian pyramid, even though this is Bert's world, which seemingly has a lot of things that could have been from Earth. Then again, I think the ending kind of explains how this could have happened to a point, so, when we get to that, you'll see it. I don't want to spoil it yet. As I am jumping past that scorpion to come up to this area so I can do battle with a boss. And here we go. I am a Slowpoke. It's a giant samurai warrior's armor. Just the armor, walking around, shooting little mini swords at us. Which, of course, we can take him out right at his knees with the baseball bat. Or we can reflect a bunch of the random swords that he throws out right back at him in order to do damage to him. And after a few key hits, he ends up falling over, falls down on his knees, breaks apart. Little spirit comes out. And it releases, of course, the little question mark, opens the door. And now we are allowed to continue on in this level. As I am going to drop down here and head this long path. It's one of those long paths that if you accidentally went to the top area, you would have to retreat and come all the way down here because this path takes you to a boss area. And here we go. Here's another one of the fun bosses. Meow Meow. It's a cat that turns evil and throws like little mini cats at you. Or I'm not really quite sure. They just could be cat toys. I'd say they were little mini cats, I'll be honest. It's one of those NES graphic things that I'm not sure. But either way, I get up close to him, jump up at the right time, and as you jump and throw the bat out, you actually can hit him 3, good times before hitting the ground. So he is actually one of the easier bosses to have to deal with. Any of the bosses that kind of just stand still and don't really move around, they're the easiest as far as I'm concerned in this game. This stupid scorpion ended up hitting me with the crap it keeps throwing out. They could be rocks or they could be, crap. Either way, I don't like the projectiles that scorpion throws out. I also like the animation of the fact that it's actually one of the few games. You always wonder in Mario, when you just keep hitting your head on blocks, how does Mario's neck, not break, or how does he not hurt his head, And in this game, you actually, when you jump up and hit your head on the ceiling, it kind of like bends your neck down or like crunches you down. So there's a little neat thing that they added, that little bit of extra animation to the main character when he jumps into ceilings. As I'm going to skip that door, it's one of those blank, empty doors. There actually will be a level where I enter a couple of the empty rooms just because they really aren't empty. They actually have a bonus. Now here is one of the best boss battles. It has its own special music. It's the punk rock battle. You pretty much fight the upper torso of this punk rocker, shooting a bunch of random shots at him. Doesn't take many hits, especially in Bert form, to do damage to him. He, of course, gives us the key, as he is the final boss that we have to deal with in level 4. And now we just gotta work our way over to the right and get to the exit in order to move on to the next level. Which in the next level has one of the best bosses, probably in not just this game's history, but probably in NES history. If you had a top, 20 list of NES bosses, I think this one would just have to sneak in there just for comedic effect. And we'll get to that one in just a few minutes. As I work my way over, killing this random scorpion. Pick up that question mark item, and I'm going to kill another alligator. Watch out for the scorpion, get under the rock, come on, wait for it, time it, there we go. And there we go, there's the exit, and now we're going to get, of course, a little bit of extra bonus health, and be able to complete round 4 as we now head to round number 5. Round 5 start. And this one's an outdoor style level, kind of reminiscent of what would be a level from like Amagon. for example, or any of the other forest-style levels in NES games. There's a lot of them. This is, but it kind of is more reminiscent of that. So now turn back into regular Mark, with now a pink outfit on. I like how his color of his outfit changes per level. It's interesting. I just, of course, to go with the different, unfortunately, the limited amount of colors that the NES offered per, thing. So things had to be certain colors for a reason. Work my way over. Okay, now here we go. The best boss battle in the game. Watch my dance. And watch them go. You literally just have to sit here and watch these zombies dance. It is quite possibly the greatest boss battle in video game history, as I'm going to dance along with them. Make Mark dance around, do the worm a little bit, or hump the ground, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, basically we just have to do this. They're going to be dancing. Now, you wouldn't think about it. Every time you hit them, they pretty much restart their routine or whatever. So, you just have to watch them dance. They just dance around for a bunch of random seconds, and then after a good amount of time, you'll see them. They just break apart, fall to their death. They're gone. We get the question mark item, and now we can move on and continue round number 5 after what nothing will be as epic as the battle we just did in this game. Moving on, as of course it's another boss battle, as we have now a giant wooden idol type thing that throws javelins at us. My strategy is pretty much to get on one of these 2 platforms right here, one of these 2 rocks, and just bounce all the javelins I can right back at him. About 6 or 7 or so shots. He dies, and he gives us the key. And now we just gotta work our way and start maneuvering our way over to the right. As that was actually it's actually pretty much the easiest level, I think, overall in the game, is round 5. I wish it was a little bit longer. Just gotta work my way over. I love the enemies in the game. The fact that there's a little tiny mini fish that has a giant fin on its back is just comedic. The dancing zombies in this level. The fact there's just a set of fish bones that jump out of the water at you. And of course a one-eyed Loch Ness monster also is pretty cool. Just continuing my way over. Making random platform jumping. Nothing, relatively hard or anything. There's another one of those fishes. I'm going to kill him, see if he gives me any extra hearts. Unfortunately, no. There is our green door, our special door, and now we enter it to end round 5, as I'm going to have a decent amount of health. And now you're going to be surprised. I'm building up my health a lot, but there is going to be one boss battle that's in the last level of the game that will drop my health a good amount. Now here we go. This is round number 6. This is the giant maze. Right off the bat, we started by going all the way to the left and entering the far left door. Now as we're in this area, we're going to be dodging the enemies, and then we're going to head to the right. Now you're not going to go in that door. You're going to drop down here and head to the right. Get past the pants, the walking pair of pants. Continuing our way to the right, watching out for the falling spirits that are like coming from the sky, and enter this door right here. Walk over. It's a straight path to the next door. Enter it. Okay, in this area we got to do battle with some more random spirits as well as more walking pants. And we are going to pass that door and enter the door all the way on the right. And now here's another pretty much the bottom area of that hallway we just did a few seconds ago. Go all the way to the right. Now we're going to enter this door. That's first door you see on that area. And then all the way to the right. And now we get to do battle with the boss of round 6. It's the chameleon fight. Basically there's 4 floating heads at us. Only one of them though can hurt us. And the one that can hurt us is the one we have to hit. And it's the one we have to kill. Once you kill it, the boss battle ends and you win the boss battle, but you can only do damage to that one specific head, so it gets a little bit confusing because they're all pretty much the same. So as they're floating around and crap, it's a little bit hard to notice, but once you get hit by one, you should be able to figure out which one hit you and just follow it around. Unfortunately, sometimes it goes up to the ceiling area of the room, and unfortunately, of course, you can't jump high enough in order to do damage to it. Once it's taken care of, we have the key. There's only one boss battle, unfortunately, in round 6. Head all the way to the left, and now when we get here, we're going to go to the right. Leaves us here. We're going to go over the walking pants, kill it real quick. There we go. Hey, give me a heart. Okay, go in this room, and it's going to lead us to a giant chair that wants us dead. From the chair, we're going to head to the right and enter this door. This drops us down. We're going to skip over that door, go in this one. Head to the left here real quick and enter the door on the far left here. Now we're in another one of these rooms with a giant chair. Get past the chair and enter the blue archway door in order to end round number 6, probably the hardest level in the game because it is a maze style level. And now we get our password, and now we're heading to round 7, which is basically a giant tower style level. You actually, every few levels, you actually have a marker that says what floor you're on, as we are right now on the first floor, as I'm fighting pretty much a walking kendo suit, as we are now moving on, as I'm fighting a weird monster that when I hit it, an elephant head is exposed. I'm sure that's some kind of, maybe some kind of Japanese mythology or something, I'm not really sure. As there's another one of those walking kendo suits, as a weird devil-style monster is also kind of floating around, flying around, as a random ghost here. So I'm going to work my way to this door, as I have to do battle with... I'm Royce, as Royce the Caterpillar. He's like a little... He's like the equivalent of probably the same age as the main character of the game, Mark. You know, pretty young kid, but he's a giant caterpillar. It's kind of just funny. He's basically a kid caterpillar, full of hyperactive, full of energy. He just wants to roll around. He's spastic. He just cannot control himself, bouncing off the freaking walls. And as he rolls past me back and forth, does a little bit of damage. I can hit him. If you're lucky enough, when he's rolling past you, you actually can hit him, and he'll go past you without doing damage. This all depends on the timing of when you actually get contact with the hitting. Now, in this level, there's actually 3 bosses, but we're only going to kill 2 of them, because this is the level that when you kill the 3rd boss, you end up losing that key that you gained from killing the 2nd one. I'm killing the 2 more, the 2 better of the bosses, I like to say. We already fought Royce, and now we're going to be doing battle with a Grim Reaper coming up in a little bit. He's not as cool as, of course, a Grim Reaper or Death from the Castlevania games, but he's pretty cool. But the final boss that we're going to be skipping over is actually another spider. We already did battle with one of the spiders earlier. Of course, we've also seen the one who's already dead before we even got a chance to fight him. But either way, we're just going to skip that one. It's basically the same thing. Now, here's one of these rooms. It's not one of the empty rooms. It says come again, and sometimes, thank you, it drops an automatic mystery item, which could be, of course, a transformation pill, an extra health bonus, or extra points. And if you want to keep entering and re-entering that room, you actually can keep getting health eventually, or transformations, and be able to turn in the bird, or build your health meter all the way up. So it's a little bit different than the empty rooms. So I thought I'd give it a shot and see if I actually could get a little bit extra health. First time didn't work. The second time I got some extra points. Unfortunately, I did not get any extra health. Okay, welcome, entrance to hell. As we now do battle with the Grim Reaper, who just stands in the same place, but we are going to try to knock these weird spirit things he throws at us back at him, as I'm getting hit a couple times now. Come on. There we go. And one last one. There we go. We actually have the key already. There's a mystery item that I can't grab. That's one of the other weird things. There actually is a couple times you'll kill a boss, and for whatever reason, you can't grab the question mark item that he ended up dropping. I don't know, really. I guess it's another one of those things that tries to trick you, or I'm just somehow not doing it right. I really don't know. There's another one of those walking kendo suits. Trying to get past it. There we go. Climb up this ladder. There's some more of the flying demon guys who like to terrorize me as they keep bouncing off the walls uncontrollably. They only take 2 hits to kill, but it's the speed that ends up getting me. There you go. How you like that one? I actually killed one. Working my way up here, there's that kendo suit, and another one of those freaking demons bouncing off the damn walls. As we are now on floor number 12, continuing up past this, I'm going to kill this ghost. See if he was seeing if I can get actually some extra health. Okay, here's another one of these doors that says empty, but it says come again. I was going to try to get some extra health, but I'm not going to really waste too much time doing that. Climb up the ladder here. Kill this random thing. It's getting on my nerves. See if I can kill him. There we go. He's done. And of course, he still doesn't drop health. I swear, some of these enemies actually do drop health. Just seemingly, I'm not getting any luck when it comes to the health drops from them. Okay, working my way up this ladder. By the way, that last room was the other room that has the other boss battle that we did not complete. That's the other spider. Have we wanted to deal with it. Work my way up, climb up this ladder, as we are now in the final room of this dungeon, or in round 7. and work my way up and enter this door. And of course rack up my points and add a little bit of extra health as we have now completed round 7. One last level to go. We only have one level left, unfortunately, as we now enter round number 8. And right after that there's an explosion. And we're going to head to the left here and enter this church. Enter with one of the worst bosses in the game. This freaking snake dragon. This thing follows you completely, like completely hugging you. Does tons of damage to me. I can't seem to dodge it. I try to jump over it. I try to get away from it. I run. I hide. I duck. I whatever. I can't get away from him. My only strategy is just make sure you have enough health that you can take him out before he takes you out. I really have no other strategy against the guy. If you have a transformation, if you're still Bert, for whatever reason, you've been able to keep it over from the last level, I'm sure that'd be an advantage, and I'm sure that'd be able to actually help you in that battle against that snake guy. But as I, of course, now get a transformation into Bert, couldn't have one before that dragon battle. But anyway, now that we are Bert, we're going to head to the right, as we have the great two-shot ability from Bert that can pretty much kill most enemies. This level is a little bit of annoyance because of the enemies, such as that witch that flies by that takes like 5 or 6 hits from Bert to kill, and that's just ridiculous. Here's boss number 2. It's just a weird hand guy who throws like little mini hands at you or something. He only takes like 5 or 6 hits with Bert to be able to kill, which is a good thing because we're slowly getting low on health. Mainly because of that dragon did so much damage to me, which I just seemingly every time I fight that battle, it ends up happening. Unfortunately, we're transforming back into Mark. And heading to the right now, as we're watching out for the weird firecrackers, as well as these witches that just get on my nerves. And of course, random constellations that open up and throw little stars at us. Always fun. Continuing over, there's a pill. I'm going to grab that and turn back into Bert. Okay, as Bert heading to the right, watching out for the firecrackers that are randomly exploding around us. Watch out for the witch. And enter this room to do battle with a giant pharaoh-style head, Egyptian pharaoh head. Basically, and it skids on blood, it looks like. It actually looks like it moves around on blood, so it's actually really creepy, too. Trying to float above him, duck down, and do damage to him when I can. Only a few hits it takes, as we get the key now. We are complete at this level. We just gotta head to the right and actually make it to the door that we enter the door to enter the final boss battle. Officially the 9th level, but it's not really a level, so it's a boss battle, so this is the official final last level of the game. Continuing heading over, watching out for random ghost firecracker things and witches, trying to grab any extra health that I possibly can. Gonna skip over this empty room, kill more of the firecracker guys, head past these witches that are just everywhere. Unfortunately, I'm getting ready to lose my bird ability, and thankfully there's another pill to keep Bert's ability with me. And now we're going to head over, and I'm going to see if I can kill anything and try to get a little bit extra health before the final boss battle. Is there anything? There we go. Come on, guys, drop some health. Okay, why not? Enter this door right here, and now we get to do battle with the final boss of the game. You beat everybody. Beat me, and you can leave. Come and die. Somehow something was wrong in that, I have a feeling. Basically for this guy, his weak spot is in his nose, and it opens up every couple of seconds, and then we can do damage to it. With Bird, of course, it does more damage when you turn back into Mark, or if you're just Mark, you of course can reflect these eyeballs right back into him to do damage. I suggest ducking for the most part in these areas, because you'll get lucky enough, and for the most part, the eyeballs will just completely go over you, and they won't hit you. Okay, there's the final hit. There's not really a big explosion or anything. We are now teleported, I guess. Mark destroyed the monsters. Bert gave him a gift. Okay. And Mark went home. Seems appropriate enough. After defeating every boss and getting back home, he excitedly opened the box. A beautiful princess came out. God, don't you wish that happened when you open the random box? A beautiful woman just randomly popped out of a box or whatever? I mean, what a gift. But suddenly the princess became a monster. Then more monsters followed her. I mean, that's hard. That's pretty creepy, actually. That's like a melted face going on, weird floating heads now. Mark was scared. You'd think and scream. He probably crapped himself as well. I would. I mean, seriously. I mean, someone's face just melted, and now he melts. And probably one of the scariest things, other than the Hitler exploding him from Bionic Commando. But he wakes up. Mark was awakened by his mom. You'll be late. It was a dream. Just a dream. There you go. There's your twist of an ending there. I'm leaving. I guess he's going off to school or whatever. Mark opened the door. Bert was there. He whispered to Mark, "Let's go again." Thus, I assuming would be the whole thing that would lead us to a sequel to this game. But unfortunately, since there is no sequel, this just kind of ends it. So it's like, is it a dream? Was it real? What parts were dream? Were only parts of it dream? I mean, what exactly? My guess is he just fell right back asleep after his mother woke him up. That's my prediction. He was like, oh, I'm gonna be late. And then he just passed out again for like an extra like 10 minutes. And you know, in your sleep, a 20-30 minute dream, or what feels like a long dream, is actually like 5 seconds. So that's pretty much what I assumed just happened. He fell right back asleep, and that's how the next game would pick right back up. Not a whole lot of credits to go with the game, just a little bit of them, but there they are. And that's going to wrap up another edition of Play It Through. And of course, I hope you enjoyed.